Zimbabwe cash crisis worse. Talking about Venezuela once again.
Systemic important banks. They removed the one factor called monetary awareness. Hey there, hope all is well. Back at you today with some more RT News updates. And as you can tell from today's title, we're going to be talking about the record-breaking U.S. student loan debt in the U.S. and how it's doubled since the last recession. But more importantly, I want to share with you some of my thoughts on why this is very dangerous, given the fact that we have artificial intelligence as well as a lot of blockchain technology that will cause a lot of disruptions in the employment sector in the days ahead. But more importantly, before I dive into today's article, as always,
Recession will be a recession.
We're going to hit a recession.
The date of the next recession.
A U.S.-only recession typically lasts 8 to 10 months.
A crash is coming. Now, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months, 36 months, no one knows.
If you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this.
So as I mentioned, I have one article I want to share with you, but what really caught my attention is the idea that out of all this student loan debt that people are taking out, it happens to be a major increase in those that are 50 years of age and older at a time where there's massive unemployment all around the globe as we're reaching a pinch and a crunch in global growth in our economy. And since everything is slowing down, that means that we can expect an increase in unemployment real soon, at the same time that people are taking out a lot of debt and furthering their education for employment. And so I think it's quite alarming. I think it's something I definitely want to shine some light on. But more importantly, at the very end, share my thoughts as to why this is going to be a very dangerous matter when a lot of companies are looking to automate their processes, which will mean less physical hands-on labor from employees directly as robotics and things creep in. But more importantly, here's an article here from Bloomberg that came out today, and it says U.S. student loan debt sets record, doubling since the recession. So briefly, I'll thumb through it, but more importantly, if you want to find out more, feel free to scroll down below to find out more in detail. But give you an idea what's going on, it says student debt outstanding reaches a record 1.465 trillion. And then what really caught my eye, as I mentioned, borrowers over the age of 50 debt rises by 28.8 billion in just 1 year. So scroll down a little bit. It says, quote, over 90% of student loans are guaranteed by the U.S. Department of Education, meaning that if a recession causes a rise in youth unemployment and triggers mass defaults, this contingent liability could prove burdensome for the U.S. government budget. And so the idea that 90% of student loans are backed by or our government's responsible for paying for that lets me know that we can anticipate a need for an increase in taxation, or there's going to be trillions upon trillions of excess debt needed to cover just the student loan aspect alone. It says the record student loan debt level is more than doubled the 675 billion outstanding in June 2009 when the recession ended. So that's doubled. For one group of young adults that took out loans in 2012, student loan debt is a particularly stark reminder of college. It says loans dispersed in 2012 have defaulted at a faster rate than any other loan cohort since the financial crisis. So student loan defaults are on the rise as well. So give an idea, here's a visual aid here. It just shows an incremental increase over time of record level of student debt, which shows no sign of slowing down. It says the Bloomberg analysis found that loans issued about 6 years ago have the highest cumulative loss percentage compared to any other year since the financial crisis ended. It says this indicates that students who took out a loan in 2012 have had much more difficult time making their monthly payments compared to students who received loans shortly before and after. So here's the idea that in 2012, when student loans were taken out, most people from that era now have entered the workforce and probably not in the employment or making enough money to live, sustain their cost of living, nevertheless be able to pay back that debt, which is a problem. Scroll down some more, it gives you more graphs here. But here's something worth noting here. It says federal student loan portfolio by borrower. And it says almost 2.7 million borrowers owe in excess of $100,000 each in student loans. Gives you a little bit of a breakdown here by percentages. And most notable at the very bottom, 200,000 plus in loans, which I imagine and hope are specialized and niche lines of work, because those are the only people that might have a chance of being able to pay back that type of loan in somewhat of a shorter time frame. But then what's most notable is the middle range, where we have between 10,000 to 80,000, which makes up the bulk of all this debt that's out there out of this $100,000. And my opinion would be that it's in service sector jobs and will not be in demand in the future as we approach this computerized age we're entering into. Scroll down some more. In the very last line here, which I want to touch on, it says in just 1 year, the aggregate amount owned by borrowers over the age of 50 increased by 28.8 billion or 11.6%. So as you can see here, the need for debt has continued to increase as more people who live a part of the old paradigm of more education you have, the more money you stand to make. But what's most notable and what's most dangerous in this aspect is that we're entering into a new paradigm of thought, especially geared towards this new fintech that's rolled out, having to do with artificial intelligence, 3D automation, and the use of hologram technology that will, in the years ahead, displace a lot of service sector as well as retail jobs. Because if you're a business, your whole job is to be able to make profit and not have to deal with the actual labor costs, maintaining payroll, the health costs of your employees. And so the idea that you have a lot of people right now continue to buy into the old model of more education you have, the more money you can make, is going to be a problem, because the student loan debt will not be sustainable for much longer, given the fact that it says here that 90% of the student loan, the government is on the hook for that. And that's just one particular sector, not to mention all the other entitlements that the government's responsible for, which would mean that in another recession, the government will have to borrow trillions upon trillions of dollars, which at that point will be very problematic for our overall economy, nevertheless the global economy. And so when it comes to education, I believe a paradigm has already shifted. And if you are not learning or getting involved in or studying anything in reference to what will be the future, everything we're going to be a part of in the days ahead will be blockchain based, or some type of automated program service where robotics will be a major importance, as well as the whole hologram aspect, which I believe will also disrupt the teaching industry as more hologram and artificial intelligence type industries are created, which will turn out to be a major disruptor in the education system, as most teachers, professors, and those that stand up in front of an actual classroom setting and instruct children will no longer be needed once you can have a hologram image in the front of the class, or some type of algorithm-based robotic system that will be coming. So just wanted to shine a little light on the idea that the doubling of the student debt is a problem, but it won't last for long. And then on top of that, the information that people are going to school to receive are probably in jobs that will no longer be dependable in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's just a little food for thought, give you something to think about. And more importantly, I'm interested in finding out your take on this. So feel free to leave me a comment down below. If you found this important, give it a thumbs up, as well as make sure you subscribe if you're new to RTD. Share this with your family and friends so they can find out what's happening around them, and more importantly, what's going to be coming in the days ahead, which will be very disruptive and problematic for society. Other than that, I'll see you later.